Welcome to South Coast Reptiles. My name's Joshua. This is Lizzie the leopard gecko, and in this episode we're going to say why I hate corn cob. So a little bit of backstory about Lizzie and us. We got Lizzie about 18 months ago from our local reptile shop. Brung her home. We bought a leopard gecko starter kit from this reptile shop, and the starter kit came with soil like this, which a lot of people would probably say this is no good for a leopard gecko because it will cause impaction as it's loose, and obviously they can swallow in that. So people say this is bad. And I watched loads of people and loads of forums telling people saying to people, don't use this, it's guaranteed it's gonna die, a million bad things basically. So I went to my local reptile store where I got Lizzie and I said, okay, people say that stuff's bad, what else can I use? And she said, oh, you can use corn cob. This stuff. Worst mistake of my life. Because even though, in theory, yes, corn cob is biological. It should biodegrade. It has not got enough time in the stomach of your leopard gecko to biodegrade, I promise you. Because this stuff is what corn cob is. Now, I don't have the picture to show you because at the time I was panicking about my leopard gecko. What happened was we changed her tank to this when she was about 9 months old, so she wasn't little still, but she was quite a bit bigger, thankfully, because if she was smaller this would have killed her. Because we put this in the tank and we started noticing very slowly her appetite was going. As soon as this went in, the appetite went. We tried many things. We brought her a much bigger cage. I bought every kind of feeder insect in my local reptile shop, and even went to other reptile shops that were sometimes like a half an hour drive away, just to try and find different things to see if she went off a certain type of food. But no matter what we tried, her appetite was going and going, and they got to the stage, started losing weight, refused to eat at all. So I started reading online, because apparently this stuff, according to the reptile person from the shop, said this can't cause impaction because it's biodegradable. Do your research first, because if I put this with Lizzie when I first got her, this would have killed her. No doubt in my mind, I would have had dead lizard. Because this stuff, when it's in the stomach of your leopard gecko, think of it like Lego. If you try and pass, like, say, big blocks of Lego through a little hole, they all get jammed together in that. And I haven't got the picture, like I said, but this stuff goes as solid as rock. Like, all joins together and joins into one solid lump. And your leopard gecko will not pass this. Unless you do what I'm going to show you in the next video, so make sure you watch that one to see if I can save maybe a few geckos' lives on this. But this stuff is no good. The only place this stuff belongs to is in your bin. Literally, I know people would say, I've used it for years and had no problems. That's brilliant. However, in my experience, this stuff is not worth it. Since we used that, we went back to this kind of stuff. This is normal leopard gecko terrain from a reptile shop I now go to, which is a bit further, it's like an hour's drive away. But the guy I talked to, I trust him with everything. So if he says it's good, I'm going to believe him. And we've had Lizzie on this now for like a year. Never lost her appetite. Put on loads of weight. She's a nice sized leopard gecko, as you saw in the intro. Couldn't really ask for a better result from that. We're very fortunate because she could have very easily died if I hadn't have done what I'd done. So there is my opinion on corn cob. Don't use it. If you do use it and it works, you are very lucky. But if you use it, there is a very high chance you'll get the same problem I got. And I advise you very carefully watch the next video on the channel if you do use it and they've stopped eating, because it might just save your pet's life. Just to show you exactly what happens to corn cob once it gets wet. As soon as your leopard gecko swallows it, it's going to go in his stomach, it's going to get all wet, and this is going to happen. So this has gone from a nice loose substrate, which you would look at and go, yep, that's perfectly fine, to this. It all sticks together, and that is what happens in your leopard gecko's stomach. It's going to all stick together, all compact together, and that is why it is no good, and it will just, as you can see, and if it gets wet, it sticks like glue. And that is exactly what it does. It sticks to each other. All of a sudden, you've gone from these little bits of corn cob to one big, massive corn cob, which your leopard gecko will not pass. So, just to show you what happens inside your leopard gecko and why it kills them. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe our video, because in our next video, I'm going to go over how we saved Lizzie's life from impaction. Hope to see you in the next one.